Hey everyone, welcome back to Britney Spears week here on my fragrance review channel. Today is day 6 of the week. I can't believe it's almost coming to an end. This week I've done Private Show, Fantasy, the Naughty and Nice remix, Island Fantasy, Maui Fantasy, Intimate Fantasy, and today I'm going to be talking about yet another fantasy fragrance. This one is called Rocker Femme Fantasy. Alright, so let's begin by taking a look at the advertisement. We have Britney on stage with a mic in front of her ready to perform one of her shows. She's got a lot going on in the background. We have introducing and fantasy in sort of neon lights. She's wearing this really sparkly stage kind of outfit with high boots. I'm pretty sure this was actually one of the promotional photo shoots for her Piece of Me residency in Vegas. So, yeah, it looks like she just kind of used one of those shots. Added some fantasy background elements. Of course, we have the bottle on the bottom there, and the name of the fragrance right at the top. So here is the Rocker Femme Fantasy box. So we have a bright pink, almost like neon color in the center where the name is written, and then sort of a black shadow going all along the front of the box. We do have the little black crystals appearing on the front. Along the sides of the box, we have that same black shadow going around the pink towards the back with the little crystals as well. Alright, so let's take a look at the bottle design for Rocker Femme Fantasy. So, we do have the standard fantasy style. This is the 100 milliliter bottle. So this time around, the base of the bottle is sort of consumed by that darkness. So it's rising from the bottom, and then it sort of gets cut off and goes into that neon magenta color. Now this is different from the original fantasy color. If I can just bring her back for a moment. So the original fantasy had that sort of sparkly pink appearance that you can see through it pretty easily, whereas Rocker Femme, it's more of a smoothed out kind of magenta, a bit more neon, not as sparkly, and you can see through it. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you can see exactly where it is. So it's not opaque, you can actually tell how much you have left. It's just not quite as clear as the original. And then we have black crystals going along the bottle with a black collar and a bright magenta lid. Alright, so let's talk about the actual fragrance. So I just need to sort of discuss something with you guys. Now you know I love Britney, you know I love Britney fragrances, and I'm generally always impressed by each fantasy and how it opens up a new path for the Britney fragrance collection, and they all kind of bring their own signature, their own personality to the line. However, with Rocker Femme Fantasy, I would have to say of all of her fragrances, this was the one that was the biggest disappointment for me. I think because, you know, the ad, the box, the bottle, everything was, you know, the marketing was shown before the release of the fragrance, so I saw it all like a month before it ever came out. And I thought, you know, Britney's wearing this like rock and roll outfit, she's on stage, the bottle has like black shadows in it, the box is really cool. It's called Rocker Femme Fantasy, so I thought it was really going to be this edgy, darker kind of fantasy, maybe with like a leather note or something just like completely rebellious and like away from that sweet, sparkly, you know, original fantasy. I thought it was really going to sort of go against that. And that's what I was looking forward to. But it really didn't do any of that. The actual fragrance is quite similar to the original fantasy, more so than any other scent that she's done. Rocker Femme just falls so short in delivering a new path and just really doesn't bring anything unique to the fantasy line. So, you know, I'm sorry to have said that, but that's my honest opinion of it, and I will take you through it, but I just want to start by saying that. Okay, so I'm going to unleash Rocker Femme. She's so rebellious, she just must come out of this bottle. Alright, so in the top note of this fragrance we have blackberry liqueur and coconut cream. So you might be thinking, okay, wow, that's actually very different from the original Fantasy. Like this is going to be a fruity, like tropical kind of thing. If there really is coconut in this fragrance, it is extremely subtle. I don't get any beachy, tropical coconut vibes from this at all. It's almost as if, you know, there was a coconut that fell from the tree and then you went to grab it and then it kind of just rolled down the hill and that was it. As for the blackberry liqueur, it doesn't really give, I don't get like a smooth, boozy kind of vibe, like how other liqueurs have given me in fragrances. I think that if I can sort of sum up the top, rather than blackberry liqueur and coconut cream, it's blackberry cream. So there's no liqueur and the coconut extremely subtle. So it just sort of starts off as a tart berry creaminess. It always has that traditional Fantasy sweet cream to it, but the opening is a little bit more blackberry than it is, you know, kiwi like it used to be. And, you know, to me there's no coconut. And then in the heart of the fragrance is pure florals. So we have gardenia, jasmine, and violet. We don't have any cupcake in the heart, but we do have the cream from the top, so it's still giving you that traditional Fantasy scent. As for the florals, they don't come out as too flowery. I don't really consider this a floral scent. They just are sort of there to blend the cream and the fruits and give it that sort of generic floral consistency, but don't really lend themselves in new ways to the fragrance. And the base of the fragrance, once again, no surprises. We have vanilla, amber, cashmere, and I believe just a musk. So it is a nice base that you know, finishes well for that creamy fruitiness that we had going throughout the fragrance. It doesn't really take us down any new paths, but overall, I mean, the scent is nice. I'm not going to say that it's better than the original Fantasy. The main comparison that I can give, the main difference is that the sweetness of the original Fantasy was that smooth cupcake balanced with that like floralcy, like the vanilla orchid, whereas this one, it's just the cream that's sort of giving it the creaminess, and it's not quite as fruity because we only really have the blackberry adding to it. But overall, I don't think that this is all that different. I think if you liked the original Fantasy, you're definitely going to like this one. And someone who's wearing this one, you might not know that it wasn't the original Fantasy. Like, I feel like they are hard to tell apart. It does have good lasting power, of course, just like the original one did. It projects very far, it really fills the room. One thing I noticed about the bottle that I'm just kind of remembering now is that, so the black part, it isn't, it's not the glass that's black. It was almost as if Fantasy was just dipped in black paint, because it's already starting to like chip off the bottom. And what I don't like about it is that it's not a transcendence. You know how Island Fantasy was like, you know, it had that sort of effect where it's just the two colors blended well together. This is just black and then pink. Like, it really was just kind of dipped. So I don't want to sound mean, but I feel like this is the laziest fragrance that she's ever put out. I just feel like, you know, the ad is from the Piece of Me tour. The bottle is just this sort of dipped mess. The fragrance is just, it doesn't have a true inspiration, and it doesn't have its own personality. So I was a little bit disappointed, but you know, I wanted you guys to know the truth. So again, not a bad scent. It's very similar to Fantasy, but if you're looking for a new rebellious rocker femme fantasy, you're not going to get that from Rocker Femme Fantasy. Alright guys, so that's all I'm really going to say on this fragrance, Rocker Femme. So tomorrow is the last day of Britney Spears week here on my channel. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the last couple of days, and I will see you tomorrow for another Britney video.